Hey, what's up, everyone? All right, let's go ahead and get the audio good here. Just getting things situated. I'm almost late. I think I'm like a minute behind or something, but yeah, I didn't know if I was going to do this live stream just because I did end up getting surgery the other day. So, I'm here, but I'm not here. So, this should be fun. Um, but yeah, so we're going to wait for notifications to go out. If you guys want to go ahead and start putting your questions in the comment section while I pull up the rest of the screen, I got to pull up the YouTube chat and yeah, so I've been down, but I've been working. That's for sure. Trying to get all these CO2 lids done. I think I'm finishing up the Nios Quantum 160 right now, but then I have the like 7 or 8 boxes actually in the steps right now. So I don't know all the skimmers that are going to be here, but I do know that I have to get going on those. So now we're going to wait a second here, wait for some notifications to go out, see who comes in. And then if we don't get stuff going on, then I'll just cut the stream and get back to work. But let me pull up the other chat real quick. Yeah, sorry, there's no intro music. Those days are over. I mentioned that in the last stream. Let's go ahead. And I got the background. Actually, I had to go back up on my Google Docs and get this background downloaded again. And it's downloading right now, but it's 20 gigs. So it's going to be a little bit, but I am able to play it while I'm downloading it. So that works out pretty good. So the other screen is up. Okay. And yeah, so I actually signed up, as I mentioned before, I signed up on 3 accounts for notifications just to see if they go out, and none of those have come through yet. So we'll see what's going on. How's everybody doing? I know that Pennsylvania's been pretty good. We were like 80 degrees today, and then there's a crazy ass storm yesterday, and then 80 degrees the day before that. So just kind of watching my plants out back get destroyed. You got yours? Okay, cool, Matt. Yeah, I haven't gotten anything on either one of my accounts, so I'm gonna pull up my other. I'm gonna pull up my iPad and see if it comes through yet. Still nothing, but that's to be expected, pretty much. Yeah, what's up, Gabe? So let me go ahead and pull that up. See, and go to YouTube. But how's everybody doing this week? I know that I know it's Thursday, but man, does it feel like Sunday for sure. My days have been kind of, with everything going on, they kind of slammed together. But it is what it is at this point. Just trying to keep up with orders. Now, speaking of that, um, I'm about to order the 4 last printers for the fish room. I was kind of debating if I wanted to do it because I didn't know if the moving situation was going to happen right away. But um, regardless of moving later in the year or the beginning of the year, I'm going to order these last 4 printers. That will be the max that I can fit downstairs because right now the turnaround time for 3D printed orders is actually like 2 or 3 days. It was 2 or 3 weeks, but finally I'm able to keep up on everything. Um, it just worked out. We had the sale on all the coral, which by the way, I took down the 20 frags for $300, just because there was a lot of those orders that came in, and there's a fine line between getting those orders out and making sure there's enough coral so you guys don't get too many duplicates, and then not having enough coral to fulfill other orders. So kind of tiptoed that for a couple weeks, and then decided just to pull it just in case. But I appreciate all the support on that, guys. But yeah, so if you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the comment section. Let me go ahead and show this. I got my second shot yesterday. Is kicking my ass. Oh, you talking about the COVID shot? Um, Sorry, guys, I'm doing my admin stuff here. I'm waiting for Andrew to get in. She's not here yet. I know she got stuff going on, but yeah, you got your second shot, Gabe, for what, COVID? Yeah, I haven't done any of that stuff yet. I know the VA keeps sending me emails like, "Hey man, when are you gonna come in and get your COVID shot?" I'm like, "Not right now." Oh, you're here? Okay, cool. But yeah, so you're not showing up on the other chat for some reason, Andrea. That's so strange. I don't know why. I don't know. I'm about done trying to figure out. I know that YouTube is uploading or updating their terms and conditions. I haven't even looked into it yet. So I don't know what the hell's going on. There was something about monetization. Like at this point, it doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter for me. Let's see here. Mike, yeah, you're too funny, man. Those dick chains in my package had me dying laughing. Well, I figured I'd give you a little bit of laugh since you left your cord. Well, since I forgot to ship the cord out for the pump, so I was like, I'll just throw in a couple dicks. So I'm glad you enjoyed them. However that may be. But do you think in the future, or do you think you'll do more of the 20 packs in the future? Yeah, I'm sure I will. Once I get a definite on housing and closing and all that kind of stuff, I have a lot of coral. I mean, even though the 300 looks pretty empty right now, given how many colonies I've taken out of there over the last couple years, just the sheer amount of coral that's been removed from that tank is mind numbing. But I still have two low boys that are packed full of colonies, which you guys will see in the next fish room update, which will probably be either next week or the week after. It kind of depends on what I can fit in my schedules. The next couple weeks, or actually the next, what week are we at right now? So 1, 2. So the next 2 weeks for me are going to be pretty rough. Lots of stuff going on. Nothing too crazy, doctor visits and then stuff on the personal end. So there's a lot of things going on. So I don't know if I'll be able to get around to getting a fish room update, but I will still, of course, do the live streams and try to get at least a video out to you guys every Sunday, like I have been, which I've been pretty consistent with that. I'm trying to think. This week I was thinking about doing. I have the outline for it because when it comes to these videos, I tend to do an outline, but like it was kind of, I haven't figured out the title for it, but it's kind of like that your biggest problem in the hobby, or your biggest issue in the hobby, is actually yourself. It's not what's going on around you. It's actually you. So it's kind of like one of those videos to help you hone in on what you might be doing wrong and maybe change your state of mind and help you, move forward to making better decisions so you can progress a little bit better. So I have a slight outline for that. And yes, I've been getting emails about the roast my reef, guys. I can't do those videos. I just can't do them. Yeah, I just can't do them right now. I'm in the doghouse for YouTube, and I've been like that since I uploaded the very first one of those videos. I got slammed super hard, and not in a good way. So I can't do roast my reefs. I just can't. Like, I can't do any content right now that's going to be offensive. If there's swearing in it, or anything too excessive, I just can't do it. Because I'm getting killed on YouTube. And it's not. It hasn't always been that way. You guys, if you guys have been here for a while, I've done a lot of different stuff over the last few years, and recently I've just been getting destroyed. So I can't. It's not a good business move. I mean, yeah, it's funny, but it's not worth it in the long run. So, and I'm figuring that out now. So, anyways, let's go and see here. If we got any questions, we'll get started. If not, I'll just keep talking shit. I don't really care. Yeah, it's probably not worth it. Yeah, it's not. It's not. Yeah. Hey Travis, hope all is well. What is the best way to lower your pH? I'm at. Am I reading that wrong? I'm at 4.42. Okay, so wow. Your pH probe is jacked. I feel like I feel like either you typed that wrong or I'm reading it wrong. You're at 4.42. I don't even know how to process that. I think you need a new pH probe. That's pretty crazy. I don't even have an answer for that. That number's not even in the ballpark of what I would consider even decent. So first thing, yeah, don't make any changes. Try multiple test kits and verify that your probe's good or your test kits are accurate, because that number doesn't look good. So that's what I would say before you make any changes. And then hit me up next week with the unless you're in the chat now, tell me, but hit me up and let me know if that's the real number. It don't look good. I'll restart and be back. Personal stuff, man. I know I share a lot with you guys, but actually, believe it or not, over my entire life has been different over the last 7 months. And you got, if you guys know me on a personal level, like a couple of you do, you know what's going on. But yeah, it's personal, man. I can't share that with you. But I appreciate you asking, either out of concern or trolling, one or the other. But either way, I appreciate it. But yeah, it's personal stuff. I'm alive. We'll leave it at that. Just saying, what's up, Travis? Missed the vid. Yeah. Yeah, trying to get more content out, guys. if you only knew. I feel like I'm the problem now. I feel like I'm the problem now. What do you mean? What is this, therapy session, Gabe? Fuck, man. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, YouTube is getting ridiculous. Seems like they only target certain people. Yeah, it is what it is. Yeah, 8.42. Okay, that's what I thought, Johnny. I was like, yeah, I don't know about 4.42. I thought I was reading that wrong. But yeah, so the thing is with YouTube, guys, if you're not aware of this, 90% of my referrals for my website come through YouTube. They just do. People watch the content, they see the coral in the tank, or they see me talking about a 3D printed item, and then they click on the links, they go to the website. So I check out my analytics for Shopify, and yeah, I mean, 90 to 95% of my referrals and my sales come directly through YouTube. So if you think about this, if I make a video, which might make me $20 or $30, which is fine, but the potential loss of money and revenue because my channel gets slammed based on what I said in that video, it's just not worth it. So if I go from 1,200 subs a month to 200, just think of all the views that have gone down. I don't even look at the analytics on my views now. And I understand that the content can get stale, and I understand there's niches and things go on, but it's never been like that. And I try to be pretty consistent. And I'm not bitching. I mean, we all make decisions. I made a decision to make videos that were edgy on a platform that doesn't accept that, and I got nailed. And that's is what it is. But so I look at it that way. Even though I love entertaining you guys and having a good time and making jokes and stuff, but at the end of the day, a joke's not worth not being able to pay my bills or progress. That's just the way it is. And it's not financially smart to this is one of two platforms that I use. The other one is Social Blade, and I don't have enough subs on that to even justify anything. So to handicap myself just to be edgy or entertaining, it's just not worth it. So you can call that whatever you want, but I got 4 mouths, and not including my own, to feed. So gotta make smart decisions, and that's just the way it is. Damn, I was going to float a fake turd in my sump to see if you would catch it. Yeah. Probably. It'd be interesting. I'm sure somebody's done it. All right, so it's 8.42. So let's go back up to your question. Sorry if I'm yawning, guys. Freaking dead. Hey, Travis, hope all is well. What is the best way to lower my pH? And I'm at 8.42. So your pH is a result of the total alkalinity and we'll just make it simple. Total alkalinity in the tank versus how much CO2 is in the water. Okay, so those two things come together to determine what your alkalinity is. So as I mentioned before, I would still double check your pH probe, make sure it's recalibrated correctly, and also double check with a couple different test kits just to verify that that's right. Now, if your alkalinity is not through the roof, I'm assuming if your pH is that high, your alkalinity is probably pretty high. That just seems to be part of the whole situation. So double check your test kits, your probes, and then make sure you double check your alkalinity testing as well. You didn't mention what you use, but most people, and in the past when I've had pH that high, my alkalinity was around 10, 5, 11, which is on the grand scheme of things, on the spectrum, it's pretty high. We're acceptable between 7 and 12. Now you can get away with, getting closer to either one of those ranges without any issue. But I found that my pH was higher when my alkalinity was, of course, higher. So, and then you're removing CO2 and all that kind of stuff. So double check both of your types of test kits and then just verify that it's correct. And if your alkalinity is high and your pH is correct, then you can lower your alkalinity slowly over time, let it come out. Double check your sources of salt and just make sure, when you get a new batch of, I'm sniffling over here, guys, sorry. When you get a new batch of salt, make sure you test it to verify the alkalinity, all that kind of stuff. So you're not putting in any kind of extreme. And I've talked about that a few times, but yeah. So the best thing you can do is, lower your alkalinity if your test kits are accurate, but that's about it. I mean, higher pH isn't that bad. I mean, there's studies that say that it increases growth and all that kind of stuff. Most of us in the hobby are trying to get our pH high, but 8.4 is pretty decent. So you might want to double check those. So yeah, hopefully that answers the question. Whew, I am about to sneeze. Whew. I went outside today and I was like, oh, it's nice. And then a breeze came through. And I'm like, oh, there goes my sinuses. So that's where I'm at right now. 1 second, guys. So yeah, let me go ahead and get over here. I was lazy about water changes for a while and relied on dosing nutrient export. But since setting a schedule and sticking to it, I've seen lots of improvement in my acropora. Could have been trace. Is there a part of, is this the rest of it? I feel like there's more to that question. I don't know if you're just making a statement, but I don't see the rest of it. But let's go move on here. What's going on, Travis? Any ideas why Forest Fire Digi has almost no polyp extensions for like 2 weeks now? Parameters are stable as they have been for 18 months now under XR30s, Gen 5 Blues. Well, polyp extension is a pretty, there's a couple different things that really play a role in it. Flow is number one. I find that if you're blasting colonies, of course, there's not gonna be any polyp extension. So make sure it's not getting too much flow. So if it's on a rock structure and there's a power head pretty relatively close, I mean, you can put your hand in the tank and kind of get an idea of where the flow is. But yeah, so if it's getting too much flow and it's getting too much light and your alkalinity is fluctuating too much, those are kind of the three main things that really mess with pulp extension. And like I said, the first one, usually flow is a pretty big deal. Now, check all those and just verify you're in a good range. I know Forest Fire Digitata, even though it is an SPS, it does prefer a little bit lower par, at least for me. I try to stay around 300 ish, 250, 300 seems to be pretty decent. Now, when you get to like staghorns and stuff, they like a little bit more, but that's it's a different story. So, yeah, just double check to see how those three different things are. Again, that's going to be your flow. And I'm getting a thing saying I'm disconnected from. I don't know. I don't know if you guys can still hear me, but it says I just got disconnected. So I don't know. But anyway, double check your flow, double check your lighting to make sure you're not too high, and then double check, make sure alkalinity is not fluctuating too much. So yeah, what does this say? What is this damn alarm? Connection is unstable. Yeah, okay. I don't know. I don't know what that's about. How are the 3D printed frag racks turnaround now that have more printers? Looking for a few more. Looking for a few more next week. It's good. The turnaround time on 3D printing is about. It's definitely under a week right now. Average stuff is only a couple days. Now the frag racks, I already have a lot of the racks printed, so essentially I'll just be printing the legs that you need, and that just depends on how many you're ordering. So probably 2 or 3 days on average, again depending on how many you order. And yeah, those Connect frag racks are pretty popular. Like I said, the only thing that takes a while is I actually was in the beginning when I started printing them, I was printing 4 legs at one time. Now the issue is because they're 100% fill, minus the inside that fills with water. But the it took so long to print them, which is fine. But if something failed, it would scrap all of them. So they might get like 90% through, and then a piece of filament might get stuck, and then send off the printer, and it starts knocking them over and all sorts of stuff. And I just wasted 2 days worth of printing. So now I'm printing all the legs individually, which a little bit more work, but it saves filament. And failed prints that are going for 2 days and then die kind of sucks. I'm not gonna lie, kind of sucks when you print something for 2 days and then it dies at the last minute. It happens often though. But yeah, so the turnaround time is relatively quick for those. I was talking about the roast my reef thing. Yeah, Gabe. It sucks, man. I enjoy making them, but can't do it. Can't do it. How are the scrubber lids going? Pretty good, James. I'm finishing up the Niles 160 tonight. I don't know how many have I done so far. I've been trying to get them, but getting shit going on. I'm pulling up the website here, see how many I've done so far. I got I have to check the boxes to double check, but I think I have like 6 to 8 boxes just sitting in the hall with more lids. So I managed to do the Curve 7, the Deltec 1000 IX, and the Red Sea RSK 300, and I did those over the last couple days. And then I'm doing the Niles Quantum 160 today, and then I'm going to open up another box and see what else we got going. But yeah, pretty good. You guys have been just kind of waiting for people to send them in and then buying them. So I've been selling a lot of Curve 7s, which is pretty good. So yeah, appreciate that. Have you had to deal with dinos? Any tips? Yeah, I think Andrea just sent a link. I do dino identification. You can check that on the website. Crap late as usual. Hey man, I appreciate you being here. Yeah, man, just double check, the pH and the alkalinity, and then just verify. It's always good if you get a weird number like that. It's always good to use multiple test kits or recalibrate just to be sure, because if it's not actually that number and then you start making changes, you might cause more problems than just leaving it alone. So just food for thought on that. You have the biggest doing on the internet. Thank you so much, dude. Hey, no problem. Appreciate the support. Yeah, I get there's a lot of you guys that are continual supports. Now, of course, I get many orders. People just come one time and then they go, but there's a lot of you guys that are coming back over and over and over again. There's a ton of support, and the way that I'm kind of processing things now is I'm always trying to bring new stuff to the hobby. Always trying to help you guys out. Of course, it's not just me, being selfless. Of course, of course, there's a return and investment for me. So if I spend time every night building new things that you guys will benefit from, of course you're going to buy them, and then they're going to improve my life. So it's a win-win for both. And a lot of you guys are just continually coming back over and over again, and lots of support. And there's a lot of lessons that that I'm learning, like these custom 3D printed items. Um, just recently, I've decided to I took them off the website for a little bit, and then I brought them back, but I increased the price because it just they just weren't worth the time. Some of this stuff took months and months to create. And if I'm only charging like $20 to create something that requires 20 test prints and many hours worth of work, it's not beneficial in the long run, even though it is good, to get it done. But so I increased the price a little bit. I'm still deciding if I'm going to keep custom items on there because again, they're so time consuming that I could be working on other things that I'm already ready to process and move forward, and that time could be used elsewhere. So it's yeah, I don't know where I was going with that, but kind of just rambling on. But yeah, I guess we can move on here. I was referring to trace elements and your opinion on water changes. Oh, okay, here we go. Okay. Verse only dosing two-part. Thanks. Well, water changes bring in, trace elements, just like you said. So water changes are beneficial. But okay, so for example, for the 125, I was dosing so much two-part that I was forced to do water changes. So it kind of worked out for me. I had to again, it was 200 and I don't know, it was like 260 milliliters a day, something stupid of two-part. Um, but I was dosing so much that it was increasing the salinity, and that's the point of it. So I was forced to do the water changes, so I got the best of both worlds. But if you're just dosing two-part and you're seeing results, and say you do an ICP test every few months, and your levels are still where they need to be with the two-part, then you're good. Now, if you're dosing trace elements that are keeping everything where it should be, then you don't need to do the water changes. For me, at this point, water changes are just to clean up detritus, and that's about it. I mean, because of the sheer amount of coral that I ship, I'm essentially doing a water change anyways. Every bag, it all adds up every day, right? So, yeah, it just depends on what you want to use your water change for. But if you're dosing two-part and you're dosing trace elements and you are getting good growth and your elements are where they should be, and you don't need to clean up detritus, then you don't need to do a water change. That's it. I mean, why do it if you don't need to? But I'm sure everybody has an opinion on that, but that's kind of just mine. Have you heard of Matt Hatter's Reef on YouTube? Yep, I think he's done a couple videos with me and them. Not me with him, but him like doing like top tens and stuff. But yeah, I've heard of him. I don't really follow the YouTube too much. I know he was back when I first started. I'm pretty sure he was there. He's bald like me, so we kind of got that going on. But well, is he still bald? I don't know. I haven't watched his stuff in a while. But yeah, I mean, he was there way back, and that's the crazy part is a lot of the people that were there when I started, what, 5 years ago now, there's only a couple left. I guess life finds a way, but yeah, I've heard of him. And then one person I used to watch all the time that is RotorTube Reef. I don't know if he's still making stuff. Again, I don't follow the YouTube for reefing anymore. I used to, but if you think about it, I work with reef tanks all day. I'm with coral all day. I'm 3D printing all day. Last thing I want to do is watch videos on reefing. And it's not, I mean, it'd probably be good for learning stuff, but I'd rather listen to I've been doing the same where I walk around and I have my Bluetooth in, but I'm just listening to books on tape. Going through the Atomic Habits again, but I'm doing it on Kindle this time. I think it's Kindle, Amazon. I think it's Kindle, yeah. But so I just listen to books now and try to go from there. Then of course Skillshare and all that. But yeah, I'm not following reefing YouTube. It's not very often. All right, let's see here. Waiting on my Geo's calcium reactor to arrive. 618 with a blue 800 pump and CChem 415. Have everything else, any other media besides ARM extra course? Planning on doing magnesium for now. Listen, I don't care for ARM extra course. If it was up to me, I would do Two Little Fishies, Reborn. If I could get it, I would use it. I've noticed that's why I had to go to the calc reactor, and thank God, freaking Avast Marine came through on that so quickly because I need if I don't have the calc reactor, my tank is in some deep shit right now. even with it completely open, wide open, that AR immediate just doesn't perform very well. And I mean, someone's going to get pissed off about that, but it just doesn't. I mean, I dropped the pH ridiculously low. And you got to understand when you continually drop the pH, there's a fine line between it being too low and turning the media to mush and then it working effectively. But again, if you have to drop your pH so low and right now I'm doing 6 gallons per hour of effluent into the sump. So even if it's being dumped into either the calcium reactor to help kind of gas it off a little bit, or even going into the refugium section, it's still a ton of really low pH, effluent going into the tank, which of course plummets the pH in the tank. So yeah, I much prefer the Reborn if you can get it. I'm sure there's other medias out there. I haven't really tried. Someone just said to me, "Hey man, the ARM is pretty decent. Give it a shot." And I was like, "Well, I don't have any Reborn, so I might as well try to do it." And I bought a bunch of it, and I bought some more of it, and yeah. So I'm actually slowly transitioning over to just the calc reactor being my main source of nutrients, or yeah, nutrients of night of I can't even speak English today, of the calcium alkalinity, because it's good for the pH, which is always nice, but then it's a lot cheaper to run the calc reactor, it seems. The only issue that I mentioned last week is that my top off is not enough. I don't evaporate enough water right now to justify how much is being dosed. So, we got to figure that out. But either way, yeah, I know it's a long explanation, but the extra course, if that's all you can get, use it. If there's another media that somebody recommends, fine. But Reborn would be ideal. And I will be actually, guys, I'm saving up coral skeletons, and we'll do a video in the future, probably in a couple months, because I'm sure a Big Bertha will kill off something between now and then. But we're going to be filling up the calcium reactor with just dead corals. I'll show you guys that whole process, how I clean them, get all the detritus off, all that kind of stuff, and then put them in the calcium reactor to be reused. So that will be a video at some point. Let's go ahead and just use your sock holder to clean the tank. That's probably my favorite gadget. Those sock holders, especially the 4-inch with the tube guide, is the most popular item I sell on my website. Hands down. I probably sell 15 of those a week, maybe. It's crazy. There's always one of those being printed sometime during the day, if not more. Who would have thought, right? But I mean, I use it here in the fish room all the time. And yeah, they're pretty popular. All right. Hey Travis, how are you? My Vertec 1.8 skimmer impeller on my pump took a shit. You think it's because I turn the skimmer off when I feed? Should I leave the skimmer on when I turn off the pump? No, I don't think so. I mean, the pump, I don't know how good the pumps are in that, but pumps just die. They just do. I mean, you can turn them on and off, but ideally you're going to want to turn your skimmer off when you feed, depending on what you feed, that is. I know when I feed my own food that I make here, it's so, I guess I wouldn't say dirty, but if I don't turn off my skimmer, that shit's overflowing. It's going to happen. So it has to turn off. It just does. And now I attempted to feed when I was doing the CO2 test, the scrubber test. I did feed a little bit less in hopes that it wouldn't overflow. It still did a little bit, but nothing too crazy. So, maybe consider that. But yeah, it's pretty common for your skimmer to be turned off when you feed. If the impeller dies, it just might not be a good pump. That's it. I mean, I don't know what they actually have in there, but I know that for the Nios Quantum 300, I have the 2 pumps, and that thing's been going since I started the reef tank, whatever the heck that was, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, I don't know, 2018, whatever year we're in now. But I've never had any issues. I have broke off a couple pieces of the impeller, but yeah, those pumps seem to be doing pretty well. So it might just be a crappy pump. Look into seeing what you can upgrade to. Maybe you can find a better CJ version or something like that. Here's the rest of the question. Should I spend $50 to fix the impeller or get a skimmer that not actually discontinued? Well, if it's discontinued, there's probably a reason for that. So weigh out. I mean, are you upgrading soon? Are you going to have this system for very long? Are you thinking about making any other changes? Is paying the extra money for a good skimmer justified? And what your plans are for the future? If yes, then yeah, get a better skimmer. Go with the Nios. You're not going to be upset about that. Definitely not. Thoughts on rinsing and reusing 6-month-old sand in a new reef tank? I don't see any problem with that. Just make sure you rinse it out good. I would start off with, just for the sake of saving water and I guess RO and time, I would do your initial rinse with like a hose. Put the hose at the bottom of the bucket or whatever you so choose. Let the water flow up through the sand. Mix it up with your hand. Let it get really cloudy, and then overflow onto the ground. And then just do that till it runs clear. Mix it up again. Keep doing that, and then at some point you're going to dump out as much of that water as you can, and then put in RO water. Do the same thing for a little bit. It's up to you. I mean, you might have decent water or whatever, but if you're just going to throw in, say you have, I mean, for here where I live, the TDS here is ridiculous. I mean, I'm burning membranes up. It's so dirty. But if your tap water really isn't that dirty, then you don't have to worry about it. But if you have dirty city water, then you might want to consider using RO as your last few rinses just to make sure it's pretty clean. So before putting it in a tank or back in the tank. But yeah, it's 6 months. I mean, get out all the chunks of coral, whatever you got to get out of it, clean it the best you can, and reuse it. I mean, it's not that bad. It's 6 months. I mean, you can reuse old sand. You just take the time to clean it if you so choose. A lot of us just don't want to do it because it smells awful, and you're like, oh, this is just more time. And most of us want to just go buy new sand because when you're starting a new tank, you're like, oh, it's all new. I got my equipment clean, everything's nice, the glass is clean, and I got the pumps and everything's looking good. I'm just gonna put new sand in to get that new feeling, but you don't have to do that if you don't want to. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Just thought I'd save a couple bucks. Yeah. Yep. How far are we behind him? I'm 10 minutes behind on chat. Not too bad. I already feel my voice is already starting to go. When do you think is the best? What do you think is the best to add Calcstir? Your videos have me interested in adding a K2, but I don't know if I should yet. Well, I don't know, James, what you're using currently. I need a little bit more information, but I mean, if you're if you're just doing water changes and you find that your alkalinity is not as stable as you want it to be, then yeah, that's a good time to add the calc. You can adjust how much you're dosing, so it's relatively easy to dose and adjust depending on your method. I like to use the Apex. A lot of people don't like doing that, but I have no problems with it. But you can add it whenever you want. Just if you're using alkalinity and calcium in your system and you're not supplementing it, or you are supplementing it, you can always switch over to Calcstir. It's fine. It's relatively. I mean, the reactor is not the cheapest, but I mean, calc is almost nothing. It's pretty cheap stuff. People are always building a store. Cool. Well, congratulations. I will never be building a store ever. The thing is this happened to a couple people that I know. Actually, we'll just say one individual because he'll listen to this and know I'm talking about him. But a lot of people want to jump out to building stores and getting fish stores and doing all this stuff, being on the public, which is cool if you can get the clientele in this environment and community and the way the world is right now. If you can justify the overhead, that's fine. But understand that if I was to take my business right now with my prices and go to a retail store, the prices would almost double because you got to think of all the overhead that's whatever the rent is, the electric, employees, certifications, and you got inspections and all sorts of shit that has to happen to be out in the public like that. And that's where the prices keep going. So if I just stay home and I run everything out of here, I can keep my prices low. My overhead isn't nearly as high, and I can make more money with less frustration. That's my point. But a lot of people are going out there. I know I have a guy that I know that went out and started a new fish store, and he's about to lose his fish store. So because he just, it's one of those things. I'm going to do this because it's a great idea, but hey, man, you do what you got to do. Don't listen to me. That's fine. So whatever. I got the diffuse for the Hydra 26 HG tank. Looks good now. Good deal, man. You add pH to your RO buffer. Your RO, cool. I purchased the NO3 and PO4, the PO4, and I dose very, very little every day. And I was wondering, what is the shelf life? It's a great product. Well, it's salt based, so it should last quite a while. I know the only one out of the two that gives me any hard time where people actually mention is that for the NO3, I put a lot of salt in there. I've mentioned this a few times, and I've reached out to the manufacturer where I get my salt from, and they said it's just because I'm using too much. But I like my supplements to be pretty potent. So a lot of people have said that I can't mention names of other companies, but dosing mine compared to another really popular one, that mine makes a much more drastic increase with little or the same amount of dosing the other one. So I like to make it as potent as I can, and unfortunately, sometimes it precipitates out depending on how long it's been sitting. I tell people, hey, you can dose that; it's not an issue. I've done it to the 300 many times. But if you feel like you have to, you can always run it through a coffee filter or something if you really want to get out the extra. But um, yeah, I mean, it sits for a while. Again, it is salt based, so it shouldn't really even go bad at all. Ideally. But I've never tested it like months and months and months. Usually that stuff gets used up pretty quickly. So let's see here. Are you going to order the new Hannah nitrate checker? Um, Let me double check here. The nitrate checker, the one that I already have and I made a holder for. Let me just make sure. Let me make sure that's right. Nitrate checker. Yeah, this one right here that I have already, that I have the tester on. Yeah, I'm just not doing a video on it because everybody's done a video on it, and I'm not going to be that person. But yeah, I already have it. I've had it for quite a while actually, and I bought it essentially just to make the holder for it, and I've used it a few times. It's not bad. Well, it's not really that complicated. A lot of people are going crazy about how complicated it is. I mean, if you're not, you're not a DTD and you can read directions, it's not that difficult. So just like everything else. And working from home means you don't have to wear pants. That's exactly. I don't ever wear pants. I wear shorts. One of the guys at the club's like, "You wearing pants, man?" Yeah, I got shit to do today. I'm going out in public. I got to wear pants, but I usually don't. So you know, I got kids around, so I have to wear underwear then. But usually it's just shorts. Sometimes I wear a t-shirt. Either way, I'm just being free. What do you recommend if you have a 9-year-old sand bed, mix frag reef, and think of getting rid of it, but and going bare bottom? Well, I mean, it's 9 years old. I would say if you're going to remove the sand, do it slowly over time. Every time you do a water change, either weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly, just remove, an inch or two off the sand bed and slowly do that. You didn't say how deep it was. You didn't say anything about that, but slowly remove it over time during water changes, and just keep an eye on those pockets. So if you're coming to a pocket where you're getting like the dark, build up to that denitrifying bacteria, then you might want to consider, continually removing that entire pocket, just not to release all the gases and nastiness from that into the tank. But yeah, just slowly remove it over time, and then hopefully you built your rock structure. Is it a frag tank? I'm trying to say here. Well, if you have rocks in there, and this is for anybody trying to remove sand, if you have rocks on the sand, which you shouldn't, but a lot of us, I mean, that was a mistake that I made when I first started. I put the sand in, I put the rocks in, and I thought it was good until I started removing the sand, and then the rocks were not as stable as they once were. So keep that in mind. Always put the rocks down first, and then then put the sand around it. But either way, just keep an eye on that. Make sure your rock structure is stable while you're removing all that stuff. No, stay home. Enjoy your education material. Keep it up. Yeah. Thanks. They came out with a new one, less region. Oh, I didn't know that. No, I don't know that. See, that's how much I pay attention. I'm not even actually, guys. I'm not even on any forums. I know a lot of you guys tag me on Reef to Reef and stuff, but I'm not even on there. I'm just not. I don't know. I love the hobby, but the thing is when it's just a hobby, it's easy to go on forums and talk with people about the hobby and do this and this and this and that. But when it comes to your full-time job and you do it all damn day long, and that's all you think about when you're trying to do other things with your life, you're like, oh, I'm gonna go out and go camping, but oh shit, I gotta think about my reef tank. When it's so consuming, consumes your life so much, you tend to not do things like pay attention to new equipment and forums and all sorts of stuff. At least that's me personally. It's kind of my way of getting a break. And speaking of that, I can't wait to hunting season. I'm about ready to go to the range, and we're gonna be shooting the bow again. Looking forward to that. And then I can't wait. I just can't wait for hunting season. And hopefully my mount will be back from that buck from last year. I am bouncing around today. I'm ready for a nap. It's yeah, we're almost done with this anyways. The high range changer. Yeah, I haven't looked at it, as I mentioned. Nope. Nope. I haven't looked at it. Yes, Live Rock. Thanks. Yeah. Let's see here. Do you recommend any complete resource to learn saltwater aquarium for beginners? Um, there's no complete resource. Not that I ever never done. When I tried to learn in the beginning, it was YouTube videos, which is what you guys are doing now. But then a lot of it comes from trial and error. And the one thing that I will say is, if you're watching a YouTuber, and I've said this a couple times, if they're just sitting at a desk and there's not a tank that they're showing off and they're talking all this shit, don't watch them. If you're watching any YouTuber and they can't provide proof and all you see is their fucking mug and they're not able to prove to you what they're talking about, don't watch them. So if you just take that right there, you're going to weed out a lot of idiots on YouTube. So keep that in mind. And yeah, just if you want to do forums and stuff like that, understand that anybody can say anything. Okay, and the rule of thumb is, again, don't believe anything unless they can back up the fact that they know what they're talking about. This is how it is. So with that said, guys, I think we're gonna cut the I'm trying to think here. What is it? Yeah, it's 41 minutes. I'm trying to see. I'm pulling up the other screen here, talking to myself. I'm trying to pull up the other screen and see where the time is at. Yeah, we'll do like I don't know, a couple more minutes maybe if a question comes in or whatever. And then I'm gonna head out because I got to get back to working on this CO2 scrubber. That's why I turned down a friend offering me a job at her local fish store. That would have made me make the hobby not fun for me anymore. It's still fun. Don't get me wrong. I enjoy the hobby. There's so many aspects of it, but if you guys see the 300, it doesn't look like this video anymore. I mean, not because by choice. Yes, I could have let it grow in and just become one big mess, but I wasn't building this tank to make it a mess. I was building it to grow colonies to make a living. So of course, cutting out a lot of frags and colonies and having Big Bertha help me with that. I just don't enjoy the tank, and I'm hoping when I rebuild, I'll kind of since I'll have two main display tanks, or two giant display tanks, we'll call it that. Hoping that I'll get a little bit more joy having one in a main living area instead of having them both downstairs. I'll be able to enjoy it a little bit. So we'll see. But yeah, it's just not. I don't know. It's hard to explain. I love it. I mean, trust me, I'm not complaining. I mean, I see people around me, and I talk to people on a daily basis that are miserable, and people come to me, and I hear about how their work situation is, and their bosses are dickheads and all sorts of stuff. Trust me, I'm not complaining. As much as I might not enjoy the hobby anymore, I am unbelievably thankful for the opportunities I have, and I wouldn't change it for anything. So definitely not complaining. About to install a geophone carbon reactor for the first time. Any advice before I flush it and put it in? Yeah, you look familiar. Anyway, yeah. So just make sure you flush it properly. Make sure you have your sponges. One thing I will say is if the flow is coming up from the bottom through that center chamber there, put your sponges in first, about halfway, depending on how much carbon you have, and then put your so there'll be a gap from the bottom of that little cylinder to where your sponges are, and then put your carbon and stuff in there, and then put the sponge on top. Because what's going to happen is, if you get too much flow through it, it's going to push up the sponges and push up the carbon, and then the carbon's going to tumble and break down. So your best bet is just to calculate how much carbon goes in there, put the sponge in first, pour the carbon, put the other sponge on there. So all that carbon's already at the top of the reactor, and you don't have to worry about it, mixing around. So I would say do that. Hopefully you know what I'm talking about. If not, then sorry I wasted your time. There's lots of dummies that would show their tank even when you ask them to. It happens. Sounds I knew I was going to trigger that. Out with friends at the BWW for drinks and wings. Have fun. Thumbs up. I'll catch you tomorrow. Hey, no problem, Caleb. Hope you have fun. Don't drink too much, man. You gotta ride that bike, that Space Cadet bike. So yeah, if you're still here. But he's got a pretty awesome bike. Follow him on Instagram. He's got a really cool bike. I wouldn't ride it because I guess you got to have that. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to say it. Anyways, my little sister has a reef tank. You should listen to me. That makes me an expert. Yeah. Travis, will elk drop in a salt mix if you have it have the circulation on? Not that I've noticed. Um, no, there wouldn't be any reason to, unless it precipitates out somehow. But I just no, I don't. I don't think so. I think you should be fine with that. Hey Travis, noticed the new tattoo on your right arm. Looks good. Keep up the good work. Love the videos and streams. Yeah, I starting the other sleeve and we're doing like a couple main fish. So we got the clown, which I always wanted, and then we're gonna do Reggie. We'll do a sailfin tang, and might do another tang. Doing a couple cover ups on some really old tattoos that I have. Maybe a starfish, and then filled it all in with coral. So it's going to be completely covered. I just, we'll see. It depends on. I mean, the total price for the sleeve is about $5,000, which is not horrible. It's about probably what I spent on the other one, which isn't awful. But I just have to justify if I really want to spend the money. There's other things I can be doing with it. If I am moving relatively quick, at the beginning of the year, $5,000 could essentially help set up all the new tubs for the new place and all the plumbing and stuff. So I just got to take that into consideration. Do I want to put ink on me or do I want to, do other things? So we'll see. I stop by from time to time. Okay, cool. Appreciate you being here. Yeah. So if you put the carbon in like that, you did correctly. Yep, good deal. I'm about to head out. See you. You see the Neptune sky. First impressions. Have not looked at it at all. I have no impressions. Sorry, buddy. Like the wig too. Yeah. So guys, I think that's it for the live stream. We're about 46 minutes in, 47 minutes in. I can feel my voice getting a little weird, so I figured I will save you from me crackling over here like a schoolgirl. Yeah, so if you guys want to support the channel, head over to fishofhex.com. Yeah, if you guys want to win it's been scrolling on the bottom, there's the $300 gift card that I'm giving away next week. It's going to be, next week, next Thursday. And all you have to do is just purchase something from the website and you'll be entered to win. And then you can buy whatever you want with it. So, I'm going to get back to work. I will see you guys Sunday with a new video. If everything goes well, I'll see you Sunday and then see you next week. All right. Appreciate you being here. Peace.